Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Last time we were here, we looked at the Financials District DLC for the first time. And you know, I've actually pre-recorded this episode, so I don't know how the last episode went. I hope it went well. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I enjoyed it. And I hope the video actually got out on time. But, you know, I don't know at this point because I pre-recorded this episode. I kind of forgot that the Financial Districts DLC was coming out this week. Been caught up with my own stuff right now. You know, the holidays are coming up and whatnot. So forgot that this was the week that I was supposed to, you know, plan things out a little bit better. So I planned out for like a major build this week where we take all 3 episodes in this week to do. But of course that didn't happen. So it's going to be broken up a little bit. So we're going to kind of take a cue from what we did on Monday's video, planning out regional road networks kind of out on the outskirts of the city. And we're going to be building up an end-of-line station along a metro station, along with a supporting residential community, because we really need to use up a lot of residential demand. And, you know, thinking ahead to Wednesday's video, which is kind of funny for you because you've already seen Wednesday's video. But for me, I want to make sure that there is enough residential demand out there so we can use a lot of office zoning for the Financial Districts DLC. So what is that going to entail? Well, we are going to build a metro, or extend the metro really, build the end of line station for that metro. It's the metro that runs through the university and Fort Prairie proper. And then we are going to build a residential suburb with like the beginnings of transit-oriented development. And then we'll play out the rest of the build another day. So here we are. This is what we did on Monday's video, where we built out a bridge here. We extended the roads. We extended the metro out to here. We got the end of line station. We got Hanover station. We got Waltham metro, and we got Hanover Waltham Business Center station or something like that out over here. We also got a tunnel over here which connects out into Old Orchard, which we haven't built up yet. So why are we building out over here today? Well, because on Wednesday's video, I'm assuming that we're going to be building up in this blank space over here, and then also in this space over here near Renton and Midtown. So part of the planning of that, which, you know, silly me, I kind of realized that we need the metro to kind of go in on Wednesday. So it's not in today, but it probably is in the next video. And also the previous video for you, awkward situation, where we're going to be running a metro from Waltham Hanover Station out into Midtown, which may come into play on Wednesday, which is in the past, but it's also in the future. Anyways, awkward situation. We're going to be dealing out over here because I'm hoping that this is not going to even be shown in Wednesday's video so that there wasn't any spoilers for you, and I'm sorry if there was. So what's the plan here? Well, we're going to be focusing on the end-of-line station. It's going to be a little bit different than our previous end-of-line station that we built, which is out over in Dunn, which we haven't finished yet because I want to, you know, I really want to start that soon, but I figured we should do the other side as well. But it's gonna be a little smaller than this and a lot less height, probably just centered around here, maybe a couple of condos, but I don't know if it's going to be green cities. I feel like some condos that kind of look a bit more like well, that's also green cities, like these might play pretty nice, but I don't know, maybe that's a little bit retro for my liking, kind of like these. Yeah, that's probably a little bit too retro. So maybe we do go with the Green Cities DLC. Yes, we're going to choose an end-of-line station here. We're also going to get a small maintenance depot for that line because it is pretty far on the metro lines from the municipal services area, which is actually really close in physical distance. But if we were to get a train to get from over here to be serviced, holy cow, it would have to go all the way through here into the downtown core where it would switch over and then come up. So that would be really far. So I think maybe just like a small one warehouse station would be good enough. And yeah, so it's gonna be a land, like holy cow, a level terrain station. And we're gonna do another one over here, focus on the suburbs through here, and then probably not go anywhere beyond this road, and probably not anywhere beyond this road, except for maybe some road network planning. But let's start off with the grid and checking out the topography. So I'm planning for this one to be, you know, very suburb-like. lots of residential. I would suspect that this was probably a town before it became a suburb. So that's why we're kind of focusing this over here. This was probably like the junction of these two major roads. This one definitely came later. This was definitely a newer bridge crossing. But perhaps there was a bridge over here before that they destroyed and turned into a tunnel. So there was a crossing right here. So maybe this is the old town. So perhaps there was some residential before. Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, so now that we've done that, smoothed everything out, I think the plan here is to probably try and get a road over here, maybe a bridge across this at some point between these two stations. Have a road run alongside here, have some nice houses along the hills, and then have a level terrain crossing right here. And then let's think about the grids here. So the grid, I'm thinking is going to be based off of this road here. Because I think that just makes sense to do. This was probably a regional road planned by a surveyor, and then they connected it via bridge at some point. Or maybe there was an older bridge here in like the 60s or something like that, or the 50s. And the original town is planned off of this grid. But when they built this one here, it started going off in this direction. So for example, this town would probably have a grid, or the original town would probably have a grid kind of like in this direction. And then I'm not going to keep that. And then this side would have a longer grid on this side because it's kind of running parallel to this road as well. So I think that makes sense to do. I like that placement of this road as well. I don't think we're going to connect anything up, at least not today, at least. Maybe tomorrow we'll connect this up. I think that would make sense to have a at least one connection through. That's not running off of this major avenue. I think maybe we could go a little bit closer. Yeah, okay, we'll go off of this one here. Now the grids aren't exactly clean, but that is totally okay. And then where should we have the next nearest connection? Maybe like way farther back on this side, eh? Because we're getting a little close to this and whatnot, and I don't want to mess with any traffic. I mean, I could definitely see us having like a one-way into here, but nothing beyond that. So maybe let's say that the next nearest connection would be about here. So I'm just going to draw in that node, and then we'll bring this one across, and then let's try and get it pretty close. So right about there is fine. And then I'm just going to delete this. There we go. So we got that connection in. Let's just make sure that there's not any extra nodes. Nice. So that's probably going to be where the next main connection is. And then why don't we actually make this one a bit of an avenue, because this is going to be a major connection point. So we'll use this one here because I like using the roads with the median in the middle. But I like using the ones with the road with median in the middle that isn't concrete, because that's very realistic for the area. Now we can also bridge here across, and this would probably be a pretty major road. So I think we can probably stick with the one that we currently have. .1% is a little steep, but I think it's going to be fine for this because I don't think this is a trucking route, or maybe it is, but 5% is probably fine for this situation here. So there we go. That is a good start of this grid. We're going to have probably these ones connect over here, and then it'll probably turn into a road going this way. Maybe it'll junction into a roundabout. That'd be pretty neat, actually. And then this road here probably going to grow into a larger one as well. So let's just upgrade it now. Okay, and then this one will remain at its original size. And then this way we can also play with different lanes if this one's going to go through here. This also allows us to play with this being a commercial center, having this larger road. So I don't really mind it right here, but I definitely want to focus now on these smaller roads and residential expansion. So definitely I would not prefer to have any level crossings with a metro. that doesn't make sense to me, especially if we're trying to keep this realistic. So we can do that, and we can say that the Metro cut the grid apart at some point. So we could keep the grid going on the other side, but we'll leave it for now, and we'll see how the rest of this grid plays out. So I assume that this probably ate up some of the original grid. So I think the first layer of grid off of this road should be 6 length. So we can bring this one down to here, and then we'll go to 8 lengths. And what I meant by that is just that this is 2 units, this road, this one's 4 units. So I guess maybe it should really be 5. Or sorry, 7 units, not... I'm confusing you all. I'm a little tired today. So there we go. 7 units, because this is a 4-unit road, this is a 2-unit road. 4 minus 2, 2, so 1 on each side. Does the math? I think so. So we'll just kind of get this grid going on the 8 length grid. Now, holy cow. Apparently I need more coffee in the afternoons. All right, so it looks like we're gonna stop this grid right here, which is totally fine. And then how are we going to continue it in to this road? Well, I think definitely if this is kind of the end, this one definitely needs to connect to this road here. And let's figure out a name for this road, because Magnolia Street. Okay, now this is gonna be Bowman something. Okay, so this is Smithson Way over here, Smithson Street, and then it turns into Bowman Boulevard at the dam at some point. Bit of an autosave. So okay, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, so here we are again. So now connecting to Bowman Street, oh my gosh, Bowman Boulevard. We're gonna go every other avenue or street, and then that works out perfectly. So where do I want this grid mark here? Well, I think maybe we could get a connection here along Anna Mason Street. So I think we could sneak a road connection into here, especially if this is a suburb. I don't mind that at all. So let's choose it. Maybe if we left it at 8 by 8, that would work, but why don't we go like 10 instead? So it's an 8 by 10 grid normally. All right, so Hanover Heights has come along pretty nicely. Really pleased with how this is looking so far. And you know what? I think there's one thing that I didn't do. It was this node, or sorry, this little section down here. Segment, I think, is what those little streets are called. And we need to get this one to 5 units. Looks like we actually did it. So there we have it. This is going to be a residential zone. A lot of the commercial is going to occur over here, although I'm not going to use too much commercial today because I want to save that for the Financial Districts DLC. Even though it's office specialization, I'd rather keep the jobs available, because if we look at our unemployment rate right now, which is over here, it's at 4%. So I don't want to use up those job opportunities, even though we're using up a different demand section. So I'm looking at this grid here, and that's very good. I mean, we've got a good established zone. I want to get some residential in here before we start talking about the metro. So where are the key features going to be of this town? And what I'm kind of thinking of is where the school is going to be, because the schools are have significant size lots, right? And I like this this area here. This is a bit big, I guess, for a school, but or sorry, this is a bit big of a school, but I kind of like it, to be honest. I think it adds a lot of I think it shows that there's a lot of growth in the town if we get this one in. Yeah, I kind of like that right there. Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is a big extension on what was probably an older building. So I think I like that, actually. It might also be like one of the taller buildings in the area. And how many people fit in this school? 150 students. Okay, maybe not, because I like the idea, although it looks really cool and everything, I like the idea of getting multiple schools. So fortunately, I'm gonna pull back on that plan. But I definitely want to get these guys in here then. And we'll go with my original slotted land location, which was in here, I think, is where I was aiming for a school. Yeah. So we'll have this one right here. Yeah, right. How about right in front of the intersection? That makes sense. Happens all the time. And then this gives us tons of space here for the schoolyard. So in this case, because we have so much space, we're going to try to use one of these ones as well. The small playground, for example. I think it's going to add just a bit of value to the land, and then we're going to fence everything off. All right, so we got a school in. Fantastic. What other services do we need? Well, we need a high school in this town for sure. This is a pretty major suburb. Definitely want a high school. So let's think about what the high school situation is going to look like. I'm going to use one of these guys because this seems like the most realistic of high schools. So where would it be? Well, we can always, delete a couple of these grids for this, or we could place it a bit more kind of in this zone, closer to the downtown or closer to the core. And I think this is a good spot right in this kind of area, right by the awkward metro kind of junction. So yeah, that works out great. Now these Hanover Station and End of Line Station are both supposed to be suburban metro stations. This is kind of the business center of the area. So I think we're okay if we place this along here. Okay, so it's not going to fit over here with a baseball diamond, and otherwise I don't really want it over there. I'd rather it be more central. So we're going to place it over here and go with basketball courts. I know I could have gone basketball courts over here, but I was thinking, I don't know if the metro really works over there. The school with the metro kind of works over there. So this is a better call, I think. So obviously, like we said, the baseball diamond is not going to work over here anymore, nor is the soccer field. But we can go basketball, like a basketball court and stuff like that. And maybe we go with a skate park as well. Okay, that's pretty decent high school to me. So now let's think about what else we need in this suburb. And I'm thinking like a medical clinic, like a bit of a corner store area would be nice. And I'm thinking of using this plaza here for it. So we're going to say this one was destroyed when they put the metro in, probably in the recent years. I think maybe what we can do is kind of tell a story with that. With some buildings. So we have we'll have a new medical clinic. Where is this thing? And maybe we'll say that it replaced the one that was originally there. And we're not going to have a post office because I think that's going to play into here. But I want the med clinic out here, and then we'll have a crematorium out over here. This will kind of become like a bit of a commercial, or like a central hub of the area. This one seems really nice though, the Crematorium Memorial Park. This one does fit really nicely along here as well. Okay, so we have some parking for this, and then I wanted to continue this fence along the back side of this. Whoops, let's just move it, grab this node, and we'll bring this one. I guess it can be level to that. Yeah, so this is going to be kind of like a rebuilt area. And then if we turn zoning off of this road, we're going to have some older houses through here. Actually, I want to turn zoning off of this whole street. I think that's going to be important, at least for this zone here. Okay, so we got the grid established. We've kind of created a bit of a main area here. So let's get the last of the services in real quick. When I'm thinking of these suburbs, oftentimes, like we said, they spawn up as original towns, and then they've just kind of evolved. So I'm going to throw in a church through here, and this would kind of stick with the theme of the build. So the church is facing that way over here in Strawberry Park. This is the one I've been using to kind of establish the length of it, the placement of everything. This one's facing this way, so somewhere facing this direction works out nicely. So we'll say that this one can be placed facing over here or something like that. So maybe what we can do is place this one like that right there along the main street. And we'll place it right up against here, and that'll kind of show that they maximize their space when they expanded this road. So that will also help tell the story of this little area. Any other services we need? Well, of course, we need childcare and elder care in the area. So let's get childcare somewhat centralized. So I'm thinking of pushing it this way as best we can. So why don't we place this one right here, and then we'll have elder care. Where would this fit, really? Could have it right on the opposite side of things. We could have it centralized. That would make sense. How about we get it centralized towards the end of line station here? So let's place this one here for now, and I'm thinking of moving it a bit closer down the line. Any other things we need? Well, I'd love to place the sauna building in. This could go nicely right in this slot, so we can slot that there. It's an older style building as well, which I enjoy. And then let's put fire. That is really important, of course. And this one can be over here. So this will be a part of this revitalization project that this neighborhood went under. So we can place, oh, isn't there a new one as well? The fire safety center. Yeah, not the style of building that I'm looking for. So we'll go with the original fire hall right here, and I'm just going to turn it and back it up a little bit so that it's right kind of adjacent to the road, so it looks like it's meant to be there, and then it has more turnaround space for the engines. And then let's detail this up. Oh, actually, let's get police station in too. Let's go with a new police station, and again, this will be part of the revitalization of this zone. So we'll just move this one over here, and let's detail this block. All right, so just a quick little parking lot detail. I think that's good enough. And because we kind of lined up these parking lots differently, I'm thinking it's probably best if we just line the fire station up the same way as well. So now what other services do we need? We got through police, we got through this. We need buses and stuff like that. We can deal with transit another time. Parks. Any other parks we need to place down? Well, you know, I'm always a fan of a dog park, or just, you know, a little city park at that. But why don't we place down a dog park kind of right in the middle here? How about we place it right by the rail over here? An undesirable place to live, but we can turn it into something like that. All right, so now let's zone up a bit of commercial where we discussed just a little bit of commercial, just a dabble. And it looks like there's a bit of a gap there, so we can turn that off right there. Have that. be commercial. We can do that as well, so it doesn't look as strange. We'll have some commercial right through here, maybe a bit shorter. Actually, no, that's okay. And then we can have a bit of commercial right through here. How about right on this block? I think that's probably going to be it for commercial. Let's turn building off of that road there. And then we're going to zone up residential in way too fast of zoning than I recommend. All right, so while that's zoned up, added in the district and everything like that. Yeah, so I don't recommend block zoning that much because of the potential for death wave implications, but you know, our city's pretty large already. I'm just trying to get these in because we're going to be spending some time doing the stations. So let's start off with this station here. Bit of a funny situation. We're on a bit of an angle here with our right-of-way. So we might need to think about changing up the pattern through here, but that's okay. The point was to establish the grid and then figure out what we need. So I have some metro stations in mind, stations that we've used in the past, and that's this one here. These ones I got from the workshop from Klus. So there's Island Station, which is pretty neat. Let's see if we can see it. So looks like the train runs on either side of it. But I'm looking for a bypass station in case we want to do this down the line. And it also plays into the idea that potentially we have some services out here that a metro would need to kind of go through. So we want to get this one kind of right through here, but on an angle. So let's delete this zone here. All right, so we got that first metro station in now, and I really like the idea of putting a park right out in front of it. I'm sure when the city redeveloped this land, or you know, even built it up, maybe, you know, who knows the story, you can let me know in the comments. But this makes sense if the right of way is right through here, that they redid this zone and you know, made it a bit of a park. Slight bit of commercial through here as well. So I'm a little surprised that there's glitching happening right here, but when it's all said and done, it won't matter that much. So now that we've got Hanover Station established, let's look, and we have, you know, a ton of residential zoning over here, just waiting to get filled up. Let's look at End of Line Station, which, you know, it might have a name by now. I don't know, but at the time I'm recording, we don't have a name for it. So let's think about that station that I want, and that station is going to be the bypass station as well, for the exact same reasons as we just talked about. So we're going to slide this one into place with Move It, and I want to make sure we have enough space through here topographically. So yeah, it looks like we do. So I'm just going to basically just place this right about there. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so that is a good connection for this. And we need to think about how it's going to connect on this side, because if you notice, this actually has two side accesses. So we have the primary access on this side and we have the secondary access on this side. So that is perfect. Let's just draw lines through the station, and we'll just make sure that we have the same grid. Okay, so that was a fun little connection project, and I think that'll work out nicely for this suburban expansion. Look at this, we have no residential demand. That's actually really good to see, because it means that we're gonna have some demand for some offices and some commercial go up. So hopefully we see that come into play soon. All right, so we need a warehouse over here because we're going to draw in a bit of a maintenance depot. So we're also going to need to draw in a road around it so we can get to the other side. So we're going to play this a little tight, and we're going to start off with the warehouse itself. So it's actually a medium warehouse is what we need. So we're going to plop this guy down, and we're just going to slide this into place. So the medium warehouse looks like an area where you can drive in a metro. If you're looking at it like this, you can see these two doors right here. Looks like they're garages that can perfectly fit a metro. So we used that previously in a build a few weeks ago, which is over here, where the metros drive right into there. And that's pretty cool, right? All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab this, and we're just going to bring it out a bit farther like that, and then we're going to split it. All right, so we have the maintenance depot in here now. Now we need to get a road around it, and it's going to be a pretty major road. I mean, most of this side of things, which is just going to be some like rich housing and stuff like that. We're only going to have two connection points, one here and one over here, really, and over here as well. So let's get this to be a pretty major road. All right, so now that we got a fence all the way along here, we figured out the road layouts through here. This is going to be the industrial little part of this town. We need to have some services in this, transit services in this area. So I'm thinking we're going to need a little bit of a bus depot over here. Now I'm going to place down the actual bus depot because I think like this is kind of like an end of line situation, right? Buses might actually terminate here. Because we're pretty far out, so I think this is actually a good slot for it. So what we'll do is we'll slide this right over like that, but what we'll do is we'll say that it's just not a major bus depot. Then we can have some other city services through here. So I'm gonna put in like the taxi depot out over this way, but I see the taxi depot in this situation a bit more of like a an auxiliary office for the metros and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Good location for this asset in particular, facing the roadway. But what other assets can we get in here? Well, we can get in some actual warehouses. So we can actually set this one up to be a commercial zone goods. So we'll actually see some activity in here. But any other assets that we can think of? I mean, the tour bus things. We don't have any of that going in here. I don't think we have the sightseeing depot at all. So that could be a good addition for a future kind of build. Let's see how far we can pull this back. All right, so now that we get that in place, why don't we get in another warehouse? Because I really like the warehouse looks in these zones. So we can use the small one here, and we can really use this opportunity to, or use this asset to our advantage because it has such a large hitbox, but in reality, the building isn't that large. So we could leave it this way and then swing it inwards like that, really fit it right into this corner here. Maximize our space. Let's leave a bit of a area through here for our walking path. So I think that's good. Go into this mod. What's it called? Building spawn points. And just pull it back through a little bit. And then what we can do is just fill in the rest with some industry. So not a ton. And you know what? Never mind, because I don't want to waste that demand at all. So any other assets we could place in here? Okay, we'll get a little plaza for the employees. How about that? All right, and then we'll just swing this right through. All right, so there we have it. We have this station set up. Now let's bring the metro all the way out here. We don't actually have that out here yet, so we'll go into metro, and we'll go out to University Station, and we're going to grab this station and we're going to swing it all the way through, and we're just going to bring it all the way to the end of line station here. Nice. And then we're just going to add in stops on both sides. And then of course it's going to stop here, so I'll just get this stop in right now. Okay, there we go. And then University Station over here needs stops as well. All right, I really like this. This is cool. So now we have the green metro line, which is University Prairie Station. I think we can leave it like this for now. I think we'll have to think about raising the amount of cars on this. Why don't we just do 8, and we'll see what it is now. So that's the University line. Whoa, where are we? So that's the University line. It comes all the way out through here. It goes through this suburb. But now we need to think about a little bit more residential. So we have our low density residential, but are there any areas through here that can use some condos? And I think potentially on this side we could get like a couple new build condos. And I really like that idea. So I think what we need to do is get a separate district in here. Because I want them to be new feeling, you know? So we need to get a whole new district, and we're just gonna run this district right along the metro line. Just, you know, some of the simple Hanover Heights stations, and we're just gonna keep it vanilla. This is gonna be high-tech housing. It's gonna raise the land value around them. High-rise ban, because I don't want them too high at all. And then we're also going to do small business enthusiasts, because why not? And we'll do, why don't we do tax raise for high density residential, recycling. Yeah. Oh, and we'll do education boost, because maybe these are like student condos or something like that, student residential buildings. So here we go. We'll have one right here, right beside the, oh, I love that diner. Actually, that's perfect. We'll keep that one there. So we'll say this building here got destroyed during the redevelopment of this area. And can we destroy this one as well? Let's redo this whole block. Okay, so I forgot We're going to need to be really picky with this. So this whole block is going to be this new area. We already have this one right here. This needs to be, whoops, this needs to be the old station right through here, or the old district. Why don't we get the old district all the way out to about here, and this block will be the new station zone. Then same thing right in here and right in here. Alrighty. So we need to actually add in the districts, don't we? The district styles. So I want self-sufficient buildings in here because that really shows that it's condos and new developments. So we're gonna get a nice big condo in here, here. All right, so here we have it. I'm just, I was going to do something, during that little speed through, but I realized I should probably talk about this. I'm going to put in the pedestrian bike path combo, and we're just going to run it alongside the train tracks. This is something you see very common. Well, sorry, metro tracks, because the right of ways of train tracks are rather large when you establish a railroad. I'm assuming it's going to be the same, or at least similar with metros. So what you often see is that the railroad has a certain amount of distance that they can build from. So if it's a single lane track, it's 66 feet. If it's a 2-lane track, it's 100 feet. That's roughly the right of way. So what happens is the cities often just sell the right of way back to the city when they're done building, and the city will often just be like, oh, what do we do with it? It's not really usable, so they make it into paths because at least it's accessible, right? Yeah, I hope you like the combination that I've been choosing for the pattern. So I figured it'd be nice to have a bit of a development around the end station, but definitely I like the height going. I don't mind these new single house developments as well. I think it really adds to it. I think it does add to it a little bit. And I think there's a bit of cleaning up to do, but otherwise I think this build is set. We've established the 2 areas. We've eaten into our residential demand. I think there's a bit more high density changes we can make over in this side of things. So I have one right here. That's really good. Perhaps this whole block up to here can get redeveloped. So I'll just go high density to about that point. We'll leave that 1 slot break. And then this guy here, let's delete, and we'll turn into residential. So I'm going to leave, whenever I do a transition between high density and low density, unless it's something planned like this, where I knew this building was going to pop up, because I like this style of building. You see this really often, these mid-rises, but this building can grow relatively tall. So leaving this gap here between these older buildings is also just a realistic thing to do. Then right in here, I think maybe we can get high density residential right there. That's not going to be the same condo style, but I think that's an okay compromise. I'm not going to establish anything on this road because I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but we have this zone as well to work with. So we can go low density residential all the way through here. And then we can also establish a park over here because we don't really have any parks. So why don't we go with a dog park right here? Actually, that would be good. And if things, need to change, they can change. That's totally cool with me. I also think that perhaps we jumped the gun by just block zoning this area because I think a path would do really well here. So we can just grab our city path with trees, and we'll just run this one right up. And then we're going to need to block or delete this house as well. Let's see, is that good? Yeah, so we're going to need to delete this house and this one because they're going to have to configure themselves. Actually, they're all going to need to reconfigure themselves because we're just about to take off these two for our pedestrian path. Just like that. All right. So, yeah, you know, beginnings of a pretty nice little suburb with some transit-oriented developments around it. Some rebuilding, replanning around an older town, like a 60s established town kind of thing. So I think this works out pretty nicely. We got a good mix of housing. I really like this zone right in here where we have the newer buildings mixed in with the classic. This is like a rebuilt house as well, which is nice. But I think there's going to be some new styles that we're going to play with in the coming episodes. Like I said on Monday's video, the holiday season is going to change or slow the pace down a little bit of this build. But actually, I have some really exciting projects coming up. Not just a new series, but other projects as well. Join the Discord if you're not already there, because some of that's going to take place over there. But I'm really excited about it. I hope you will be too. Let's jump into a detailing time lapse. All right, so there we have it, folks. We got our little old style bus going through here, and hope you liked this build today, folks. I sure did. I really like building these types of builds, these transit-oriented developments, these you know, suburban kind of lines as well. I think they're pretty cool. What the heck is this bus doing? Oh, he's just restarting this line right here. Yeah, you know, I think this is a good height for this area, especially if a lot of this is going to be like student living, student condos, young professionals living off the on the metro line, so they can get downtown easy. I think this is a good build for that. You know, we have all the services we need. We even you know, rapid transit, local transit, and yeah. So I'm just gonna let this bus run through the city, and then we will call it. So I hope you enjoyed the build today, folks. I'll talk to you at some point next week. I forget what I said, what the schedule was. I think next week's a 1 video week, and I think it'll be Friday, the video. But I'll hopefully have some more details to share with you then. So yeah, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.